The new Bruce Dickinson song Rain on the Graves is finally out, and it is nothing like I expected it would be. So let's take a closer look at the video for Rain on the Graves and the song itself, discuss how Bruce Dickinson has sold his soul to Ozzy Osbourne on it, and see whether it builds up or kills the hype for the upcoming Bruce Dickinson record. Here you go. The video opens with a quote from William Blake's Auguries of Innocence, in which Blake was supposed to showcase the contrast between the naive and the mature, and demonstrate the hypocrisy of our society by speaking of the innocent being corrupted by the evil.
What?
And this poem is a key to understanding and appreciating this video to the fullest. In Rain on the Graves, Bruce plays the role of the preacher running into the devil himself, who showed him his true desires, in which he agreed to sign a deal to lease his soul for one night, to spend it letting his inner rockstar self out.
In a country churchyard, I came across a man. He smiled and slowly beckoned me with a trembling hand.
And here's the thing, I was actually rather open about me not being a super fan of the Afterglow of Ragnarok video. And it actually has nothing to do with the CGI or any other complaints that I've read online, but rather because it had so much going on there that for me personally it actually took too much attention away from the music itself. And even today, a month later, I actually find myself being able to enjoy Afterglow of Ragnarok much more when I simply listen to the song by itself while flipping the comic book for it and letting my imagination do the rest of the job. And so I feel like I have to be honest and come out right away about Rain on the Graves as well. I absolutely love it! It is purposefully quirky, lighthearted, and does not take itself 100% seriously, with the dripping charm of those classic Hammer horror movies. But most importantly, Bruce and the entire band are having a blast, and it is contagious. I absolutely love how it looks like on the Mandrake Project. Bruce Dickinson is letting his creative abilities out to the fullest, as if finally being allowed to do something he wasn't able to do for many years.
Having fun building a world.
Around half a year ago, I released an episode asking what is going on with Bruce Dickinson and discussing why it looks like he's having so much more fun than usual on stage together with Iron Maiden on their The Future Past tour. And in my opinion, this Bruce Dickinson's attitude that we saw last year on stage together with Iron Maiden has somewhat materialized on this project of Bruce's. And as a longtime fan, I just have to point out that I absolutely love seeing the legendary Bruce Dickinson having so much fun and not keeping himself within any boundaries whatsoever. And actually a couple of weeks ago, Bruce discussed in an interview how his near-death experience from several years ago has impacted him and his perception of life overall, agreeing that no matter how tough you are, those things actually do change you for good.
I didn't think that changed my view of life and death. Yeah, no, it did. But not in a bad way. Every day is like, great, wow. So I try and live in that space.
And the truth is that none of us have any idea whether that particular experience had an impact on these videos at all. But simply seeing how much fun Bruce has on those today, I have to admit that I am actually becoming to be rather happy that the Mandrake Project was not released 19 years ago, and that we get to see it today when Bruce, despite him being 65 years old, does not stop his inner child from having lots of fun. But anyways, going back to the video, just like with pretty much anything the Mandrake Project related, in this video Bruce has hidden quite a lot of Easter eggs and little clues and secrets for us to discover and discuss, just like for example another William Blake quote at the very end of this video, which may, if knowing the plot, give out just a tiny little bit of information about what we may expect on the next episode of Bruce Dickinson's The Mandrake Project story, and I feel like we can actually release a separate episode about this video alone. So for now, and for the purpose of this particular episode, I just wanted to point out that if taken lightheartedly, this ode to the Hammer horror movies, in my personal opinion, does not take away anything, but rather the opposite, only complements the music of the Rain on the Graves. Now, talking about music, I have to be honest with you, it is actually nothing, literally nothing like I expected it to be. After first seeing the teaser and hearing that very heavy, old-school guitar tone in the opening riff, I actually assumed that on Rain on the Graves, Bruce Dickinson and Roy Z will step into a much darker and heavier side of their music writing composition. And I even compared the feelings which that opening riff has evoked with that of The Thing That Should Not Be by Metallica, which I actually consider to be one of the heaviest songs that band has ever written in their entire career. And yet, I was absolutely wrong about that. Now, don't get me wrong, Rain on the Graves is still heavy, it's just a different kind of heavy. It is almost playful and theatrical heavy, as if Bruce Dickinson stepping into the comfort zone of Alice Cooper, exploring a much more evil, bluesy side of rock and roll and heavy metal.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
The heavy guitar riff, which gets almost instantly interrupted by this steady beat, accompanied with this groovy Bruce Dickinson's a cappella part, almost makes you want to dance a little, which may actually be a very interesting break among the other Bruce Dickinson songs which he will be taking on the road together with him on the next tour. And overall, just like Afterglow of Ragnarok, I feel like Rain on the Graves is written specifically to be played live, with its very simple yet extremely, and I mean really extremely, catchy chorus, being very easy to remember and getting stuck in your head so that you have absolutely no other option but to sing along together with Bruce and thousands of heavy metal fans on the upcoming live tour. And talking about that live tour, Bruce Dickinson has recently shared some info about what he may and may not play on this upcoming tour. And given it will be a first solo tour for Bruce Dickinson in roughly gazillion years, it is absolutely understandable that in addition to 4 or 5 songs from the Mandrake Project, he will also be performing several of his biggest hits from his long and prosperous solo career. So if my opinion, if you have a chance to see him live but you're still contemplating whether to do that or not, I honestly even don't understand what you're thinking about. Even if you don't like the first 2 singles from the Mandrake Project, I feel like this tour is one of those that you as an Iron Maiden or Bruce Dickinson fan simply cannot miss. And the truth is that I truly hope that I and thousands of Ukrainian heavy metal fans will also be able to do that this year. So guys, I know and I truly do understand that there are a lot of other news coming your way these days, but guys, still, please do not forget that the war in Ukraine is still going on, and please continue supporting us in any way you possibly can, so that at least I and all of the other heavy metal fans will be able to continue enjoying our favorite music, instead of constantly thinking, when will the next air raid siren sound go off? But anyways, in addition to the very catchy chorus, one of the highlights of this track musically for me personally is this rather simple yet very effective guitar solo by Roy Z, which on one hand is very old school and yet at the same time is rather experimental as well, and on which Roy once again showcases why he actually is one of the most creative classic heavy metal guitarists out there. But anyways, despite me actually truly enjoying Rain on the Graves right now, after several listens, I have to be honest with you, the first time I heard it was rather hard for me to fully enjoy it. And that's where I realized that unlike Afterglow of Ragnarok, it actually works in a completely reverse way to the first single from the Mandrake Project. If in order for me to fully appreciate Afterglow of Ragnarok, I had to turn off the video and simply enjoy the music by itself while possibly flipping the comic book, when it comes to Rain on the Graves, I actually caught myself thinking that if I would have simply heard this song among all the other tracks on the radio, I'm actually not 100% sure if it would have caught my attention the way it did. And the reason for that, and I know that it may sound very ironic from me, given what I said about the Afterglow of Ragnarok, but Rain on the Graves might actually work best as a soundtrack to this video. Yes, in my opinion, they actually do complement each other rather well. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I will mostly come back to this song as a standalone track together with the music video. Although there is actually also another rather fun way to come back to this song, which I promise to share with you in just a couple of days. But anyways, in my opinion, Rain on the Graves did not actually kill, but quite the opposite, only increased the hype for the upcoming The Mandrake Project. And the reason for that is that despite what I was afraid of the most, and mainly musical repetition on this upcoming record, the first two singles from The Mandrake Project are actually located on completely opposite spectrum of a heavy metal sound, which means that we don't know anything about how this record will actually sound live. But the most important thing for me personally is that both of these tracks actually sound nothing like Iron Maiden, which in my opinion is a great thing and is exactly what I'd want to hear from Bruce Dickinson's solo work. Because the last thing we all need is Bruce Dickinson simply doing a copy version of his legendary main act. But what do you guys think about Rain on the Graves? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!